Thank you, Dale.
Larry Tentarelli, welcome back to F.A.C.E. How are you? And I'm going to get you set up here. It's interesting to have you here today, Larry, because almost every other interview that we've done was without any kind of pullbacks, any kind of sell-off. So, looking forward to your looks. Larry, welcome back to F.A.C.E. I know it's the end of the month, but Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you too, Dale. Thank you for having me back, and definitely an interesting time in the markets for sure.
Yeah, can you turn your volume up a little bit? I don't know if it's me or
Yeah, let's
you.
try. Bear with me for a second. Hold on.
Okay.
I've
All
got to make
right.
sure can you hear me any better?
I don't think
No,
the problem is the volume. I think
but
that you're further away from your microphone, so there are two possibilities there.
How about
Um,
now?
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
You hear me
Okay.
better?
beautiful.
Okay,
Beautiful.
Yes.
Yeah,
perfect. Yeah,
loud and
I had to change my audio setting.
Exactly. That's what I want to say. Probably your camera's microphone was selected.
okay.
Yes, exactly.
All right,
Okay.
Larry, let's go ahead and share your screen and take a look at there was a little short-term damage to the market yesterday, and you've been long and right ever since I've been talking to you, and I'm just going to guess that you're still long that one day does not a trend make, even
Exactly.
though it was a pretty dramatic day. And
Yeah, you're right. I'm still long. Now I did dial some back. So on the members website, I dialed some back on Monday ahead of earnings because I had
okay, are
five
you going to
stocks.
share your screen, Larry? Don't
Yeah,
have that yet.
let's see. Okay, hold on. Let me
Yeah,
go
the
to
green
Zoom,
box there.
share
So
screen.
so we could see your clean
Let's see.
looking
How about now?
charts. There we
Can
go.
you? Okay.
All right.
Audio's good. Charts are good.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
we see. I know you use a lot of these moving averages. So far, all we've done is cut out one of your moving averages in the S&P.
Yes.
Your rules tell you it has to take out maybe the red one or even the one underneath that for there to be, you know, believing we're in a market correction.
Yeah, under 3650 would be the first caution flag for me. So the 50-day obviously is important, but it doesn't always adhere to the 50-day. So 3650, if the S&P took that out, that would be the first real caution flag. So right now, I'm treating this as a pullback in a longer term uptrend. So the S&P, if you look at it's up about 19% or so in the past 90 days. And you've got stocks like Tesla and Roku that have doubled. General Motors moved 40% in about 2 weeks. So what happens is when stocks and markets make these types of moves, they've got to consolidate at some point. So for right now, I'm cautious, and I did dial some back. I had 5 companies report earnings this week: Apple, Tesla,
Yeah.
GE, Freeport, and Caterpillar. So I dialed some back ahead of earnings, but I'm still holding those positions. I'm at about 22% cash right now, but I'm cautious, but I'm
Is that pretty
treating
high
this.
for you? Cash
It's
level?
high. It's higher than average. I'm normally at about
Okay.
10%, 5 to
Yeah.
10%. But just with earnings, what I didn't want to do is I've got some nice gains in Apple and Tesla and Caterpillar, and what I didn't want to do is get caught on the wrong side, and then they take these stocks down 10 or 15%, and I don't book anything along the way. But I'm still, I'm cautiously long. I'm looking at quite a few ideas, but what I do want to do is I don't just start to buy things on the way down once the pullback starts. What I want to do is I want to see these stocks start to stabilize. Maybe the daily ranges come in a little bit, but yeah, I'm still long right here.
Okay. You're a veteran, Larry, and we've had all these strange, bear raids and some of these individual issues, GameStop, all this stuff.
Sure.
Also, penny stock volume off the charts. Normally a dash for trash is kind of a warning sign.
Yes.
Do you really believe that these Reddit traders had the power to drive these stock prices up to where they were? I know there were a lot of shorts, but all of these signs of froth, do they bother you at all?
It does to a degree, and that's why I took some money out. And I covered this last night with my members. You know, I've been doing this for a long time, and when you start to see things in the market that just don't make sense, like with GameStop, and I don't have any GameStop, I don't cover it. You know, that's not what I do. But when you start to see things like this happen, it's just, to me, it's just a caution sign that says, hey, there's a blowout in some part of the market that doesn't really make sense. Now's a good time just to take some money off the table and, you know, reevaluate until things calm down. So what I do is I use volatility. And when volatility starts to expand, that tells me to, you know, dial back some exposure.
Hell of a day in the VIX yesterday.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this. So I believe, you know, after interviewing people for a while, I kind of get a feel for their style.
Mhm.
And I'm guessing that you have some biases of stocks that you would either be looking to re-enter once you get, you know, it begins to stabilize, and sectors that you favor and welcome this sell-off so that you could position yourself on this, you know, buy some things on sale. What are those areas of the market that you're going to be looking at to buy this break?
I think I lost you there for a second, Dale. Bear with me for a second. Let me see if I can find you. Hold on.
Okay.
You there?
Yeah, I'm here, buddy.
Sorry about that. I hit the wrong button. But yeah, no, and that's good that you brought up. I lost you at find some things on sale, which is only a few seconds. But yeah, I do have a watch list. So if you take a look on my screen right now, what I do at any given time, I'll keep a group of charts on the screen that I'm looking at pretty closely. So I came into the year, and the top three groups that I was focused on is clean energy, which is, you know, the renewables, Plug Power, Tesla, things like that, genomics, and e-commerce. But I'll tell you what's starting to move up the ladder a lot for me is healthcare.
Interesting.
You know, yeah, so healthcare, and if you look at some of these stocks, like say TEVA Pharmaceuticals, so TEVA is in, I believe it's in the top 20 performers year to date. But at one point, I think it was after the first week of the year, 11 of the top 20 large caps year to date were in healthcare. And I was surprised to see that because, you know, you don't think healthcare is that strong of a sector. But if you look at stocks like TEVA, TEVA's on my radar screen. Johnson & Johnson isn't, only because it's a little bit of a lower beta stock, but a stock like Teladoc, if you take a look at that, TDocs had a big breakout. So,
God, you know, I've been going to the doctor that way. How about you? I mean, not Teladoc. There's a few different ones, but I actually don't mind having to being able to talk to my doctor from home instead of, you know, you make an appointment with the doctor and you know you're going to be sitting in the waiting room well past your appointment time.
Oh yeah,
they're a little bit more timely with these. So Teladoc, interesting. So, you know, that is you know, kind of a COVID play. Maybe things don't ever really get back to normal for quite some time, and medicine seemed you could get any kind of, except for surgeries. They haven't found out how to, you know, operate on you through your screen, but almost everything else, not yet. All right, so TEVA is interesting to me. Is that Israeli biotech or pharmaceutical?
They're Israeli. Yeah, I believe they're more into the generic side of it. So they are a $13 billion market cap. And what started to put it on the radar screen, once it came over the 200-day moving average, it showed up on my screener one day. And then it, you know, it's just been drifting higher. I think it's up about 25% or so year to date, but it's not. What's important to me is that the group, so Eli Lilly, another strong breakout. This went onto the buy list about 2 weeks ago. You know, for the members buy, but there's just a lot of, for whatever reason.
What a breakaway gap. Was that earnings back at the beginning of the year, that big gap down there?
I think they got an approval for some type of a drug here. I think they've got earnings coming up in the next week or so.
Okay.
But they got some type of approval. So this breakout right here put it onto the radar screen. So I'm not looking at Lilly right now just because it's already broken out and I don't have it yet. But I am looking at TDoc. Bristol Myers is setting up well, but they've got earnings. But TEVA really is pretty high up on the radar screen just based on the overall chart. TEVA could have some room to go.
Okay, I kind of look at the markets as a big jigsaw puzzle, and I look at correlations and relative strength of certain commodities or sectors. And I think something that probably surprised a lot of people, maybe not as much as it has because it's been demonstrating so much relative strength, is normally on a day where you have 90 handles being taken off of the S&Ps, you would see energy under a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
And energy is not giving up the ghost in any way. I'm wondering if that's one of your favorite sectors right now too.
Yeah, I'm heavy long. I'm heavy long in energy. XOP is one of
Okay.
my biggest positions right here, and I've been in XOP since $50, right
Okay.
since it came over the 200-day moving average. But yeah, energy. So last year, in the large cap space, there were 0 energy stocks that were up for the year. So every single large cap energy name was down in 2020.
Right.
So when I covered that coming into the year, on the members website, I just said, there's a lot of room for possible mean reversion there.
Yeah.
So it was a good, if you take a look at where it is right now. So, I mean, it was 306 a couple of years ago, 173. So just on, when the entire sector is down for the year, it tells you that there could be some room, for some possible upside. So yeah, this is one of my favorite recovery groups. And as long as it stays for me over this 50-day moving average, then I'm going to continue to lean into the long side. I think XOP is set up well. Occidental Petroleum is my favorite large cap stock right here. You can see over the 200-day holding over that 50-day. I think Schlumberger's got some upside, but it just starts to pull back a little bit more. Exxon, big dividend there. That's also over the 50-day. But energy, as far as recovery groups, is my favorite sector.
Okay. We've had some interesting action in the 10-year yield, Larry. We went from 50 bips to about 120 and pulled back to the big round number of about 1% here.
1%, yep.
Yeah, and I think there's another wave to the upside in yields, probably from right around here.
Yep.
Any groups you'd avoid, or any groups that higher yields would favor if we had one more leg to the upside and say went to 140, 150?
Yeah, and I agree with you. I do think that yields are going to continue higher. And when I take a look at the chart, so 1% is the key number. If it pulled back, you can see the 50-day has held going back to, it looks like September. But I do think that there's another move higher in yields. So the banks.
So that's
really
good for the financials.
Good for the financials. So Citigroup, JP Morgan, Bank of America, Wells Fargo. So I've got Citigroup. I think that Wells Fargo probably has the most upside potential if the group recovers, but I like the whole group. Bank of America, they're all going to trade the same. A group that surprised me that I was in the home builders for a while. And then when yields start to pick up, the home builders started to flatline because, rising bond yields aren't good for mortgages. Right. But the home builders have started to break out here. So Toll has been strong. Lennar just recently started to break out. So I haven't put any money into the home builders yet.
Keep that chart up there. What I've noticed on this chart, unlike many of the charts, is look how tightly coiled and intersecting all of that band is of moving averages.
Exactly.
Is that, do you like that kind of setup where you have confluence of your moving averages that kind of tell you, man, it's going to be good or bad from this area if it gets there?
I do. I like it when they all start to turn up at the same time too. So you see the 20 days turned up, the 50-day, the 200 starting to turn up. So the home builders are set up pretty well right here. There is that little voice in the back of my head that does ask myself, if bond yields go up, can home builders continue to break out? But as long as the charts, ITB broke out, but as long as the charts are set up well, then it's a group that I'm going to focus on.
Okay, Larry. So I'm kind of running out of questions. Anything else you want to cover here today with us?
No, just basically where I'm at. So I've got the same positioning that I had the last time we spoke. So I'm split right now between growth and cyclical. So I've got Apple, I've got Tesla, I've got Roku, you know, and I've had these since I think before the last time that we spoke.
Okay.
I'm still a believer in the cyclical follow through. So Freeport, they've pulled that back a little bit harder. I'd like to see it stay over the 50-day moving average, but really what I'm looking at, there's a lot of 50-day moving average tests in a lot of these cyclicals. And I think if they hold here, and if there's any stability in the market, and if these start to head back in the other direction, I think those are some pretty good buy points right now. But I'm still split. So I've got GE and I've got Citibank, but I've also got Tesla and I've got Roku. So I'm still split between the two. But
Okay.
really, healthcare I think is a group that I'm looking at today.
Okay. And we have some very good investors and traders here, attendees, and
Sure.
Brock would like to know if you have any views on the marijuana stocks. They have Tilray's had a nice move. There's been some firming up of the marijuana stocks. Are you looking to participate in that? Buy a bong or anything?
I don't track the groups. So what I did on the website about 2 months ago, I put together what I call a speculative ideas buy list.
Yeah.
For members that are looking. So this group really isn't a focus group for me, but I did put it on the buy list about a month ago. And I think the group right now is overall, the group I think is set up very, very well.
Okay.
So I don't have any single stocks per se. So I put the ETF on the list, but if you just, and the ETF obviously tracks the group, but all the moving averages have turned up. So I would say over this 50-day moving average, I would lean into the long side. So I'm constructive on the group overall.
Okay, and one more question from Richard.
Sure.
Emerging markets.
Yeah, I've got that on the buy list, and I think those are set up really well. I mean, emerging markets have been very strong, especially if they stay over the 50-day. So, and this is a key group. So if the commodity upcycle follows through, and I think that it will, and I could be wrong, and if the market proves me wrong, I'll get out. But yeah, I think EEM's in a nice uptrend right here.
Okay. And the best way, Larry, for people to follow your excellent work and be in touch with you, there's Larry's website.
Yep, bluechipdaily.com. And then I'm on Twitter at LMT. So let's see if we're down here. So at LMT 978.
Okay, I asked you about why 978, didn't I?
Yeah, you know what it was is no one could ever spell my last name, and at the time, no one could ever spell Tentarelli, and it was hard to get tagged. So what I did was I went with what was the area code for my telephone.
Okay, all right, yeah.
I've wanted to change it, so I put my name and my website in the handle. And I put, but people, I've been on Twitter for 8 years and everyone knows me now as LMT978. So I tried to change it and nobody knew who I was. So
it's like that song 8675309.
Yeah.
Remember that one?
That's exactly what it is.
I called it. No one answered. Anyway, Larry, listen, really appreciate your overview of the markets, and we'll get together like in April again and see how things are progressing, and always appreciate you coming here to F.A.C.E and providing unhedged opinions, and you tell it like it is, and I appreciate you, my trading warrior brothers. Thank you, Larry Tentarelli.
Dale, I always appreciate you. Thanks for having me on. You do a great podcast, and you're the real deal. You ask the exact right questions.
Thank you so much, Larry, and everyone. That's a wrap for Thursday. Remember, don't just count your shares and your options. Count your blessings and not just your pips. And we'll see everyone tomorrow to wrap up the week. So adios. Good hunting the rest of the day. You're welcome, Monica. You're welcome, Scott. And we'll see everyone tomorrow. Adios. You're welcome, Pero, Scott.